Just like birds and insects, people migrate too, across borders or inside of them. But this is not nature's call, but rather a worldwide phenomenon related to declining economy, disastrous war, and unbothered governments. It's hard to understand the hardships of people who are forced directly or indirectly to migrate. That's why we choose to interview two migrants of voluntary migration to understand why, even when they are not forced to, people still choose to leave their countries. The first migrant we interviewed is Ersi Druga, and she is from Albania. At the moment, she is studying medicine at GATA in Ankara.
Well, the reason why I chose to leave my country was, first of all, because I study in a military academy, and in Albania there is no military academy at all. And second of all, I wanted to study medicine and the military part. And in Albania there is only a normal medicine school. So in order to study both, I had to come to Turkey. Considering that in Turkey there are a lot of international students from all around the world, this is enough advertisement for the Turkish education system. And after that, in Albania there are a lot of Turkish doctors, and they are like the top doctors. And this also was the big advertisement for the Turkish work-wise aspect. Well, when I first came here, I didn't know any Turkish at all, and it was very hard for me to understand what was going on around me. But after I learned a bit about it, and considering that I had a lot of Albanian friends around me, they helped me a lot to adapt to the Turkish way of life and education system. And I can say that the biggest impression was that the Turkish people are very hardworking, and they work a lot to achieve their goals. So this made me more motivated into achieving my own goal. When I first came here, I studied for 1 year in a well-known military school, and I had no permission to go out on weekdays, only on weekends. And also weekends would be taken out sometimes as a form of a detention. So I could go out very little, and after 1 year ended, I still didn't know the city. I still didn't know where I lived. I still didn't know places to go when I had something to do. And this was kind of a challenge for me. But even though after 4 or 5 months later, when I moved to kind of a civil school, it was no hard for me to adapt to the city and everything else. So one of the things that impressed me the most was the number of international students here in Turkey. There are a lot of them, and I only expected, I don't know, maybe 20,000 in number, but I can see that a lot of people are just like me, and we can understand each other in facing difficulties and everything else. Also, another thing that impressed me was how much the Turkish people drink chai. I mean, they drink that in the morning, in the evening, with everything. And I also started drinking chai just like Turkish people. Well, having to interact with a lot of new people, which I didn't know before, and considering that most of them were international from places that I didn't even know existed before, I think that made me a very much more open-minded person, and that has changed my character, I can say. That made me a stronger person, and also having to live away from my family, having to face the difficulties all by myself, made me much more grown up than I was before. Well, after finishing 6 years of medicine school, I hope to continue studying in Turkey for my master's degree, and after that I have to return in Albania in order to serve in the military service for another 6 years. After that, I don't know, I would like to continue in the military service and also be a very good doctor. Well, considering the huge number of international students here in Turkey, I think that's enough advertisement for the Turkish education system. Also, if someone was to come in my school, in military school, I would suggest them to research and find out about school requirements and everything, because it's not the normal school where you go to your lessons and then you have free time. You have much more responsibilities you have to accomplish. So if anyone would like to come in Turkey, I would totally suggest them to come. Well,
The second person we interviewed is Jurgen Parlaku. He is from Albania and he is in IT software in Turkey.
I choose to leave my country and to work abroad because the opportunities outside were much more in number. I felt like my effort and knowledge is more appreciated in Turkey, and I can easily find a job that is related to technology. Turkey is developing, and technology is also on the rise, and the industry is large, and the profit is good, which also means I get a higher salary. Turkey is very similar to Albania by culture, so it is another reason that I choose Turkey to work. In the beginning, I really felt like an alien, and I did not know much about the people and the language. It was hard to fit in, but we have a lot of things in common. So I always find myself joking and laughing with my coworkers about the different words that the languages have in common. I mostly missed talking in my mother language, and when you translate some jokes in Albanian to Turkish, they sound weird, so it was kind of difficult to socialize and to be close to people. They have all the food I have back home, and I didn't expect that I really like going out at night and finding stores which sell burek and stuff like that. The cooking is extremely good. To me, it was surprising to see so many mosques around the city, and the people take religion seriously in Turkey. Turkish people don't celebrate Christmas or New Year, and that made me surprised and sad at the same time. December is always festive in my country. We would talk and they would understand me after they knew that I was a foreigner. Somehow they would not understand my Turkish anymore. It was very weird. I mostly missed my family and my dog, but I always talk to them on camera and contact them often. I also miss my friends, and every time I go back, I make up for it by going out. Biggest challenge I found was working in a company that has mostly Turkish people. It was hard to communicate and get along in the workplace. Also, I was very busy, and social life is difficult to maintain when you are working. I desire to become a programmer in a company like Microsoft and solve technological problems that the world is facing. I wish that people knew that we are just like them and be even more welcoming and understanding of our difficulties. In this way, we adapt quicker in the society as well. I would say go for it. It's an amazing experience for your career.
Welcome to the end of the video. From this video, we have understood 4 things.
The most common problem that foreigners face in other countries is the language barrier.
People leave their country because of better life, but the hard to leave your loved one behind.
And thirdly, depending on the countries, it could be hard or easy to adapt. The culture of this country is, if the culture of this country